We are, folks. Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. There are times when, in between doing one of these and another one, that I spend some time praising the Lord, just worshiping God in the silence of the room, and thinking about the next excerpt, what is going to be, and reading and studying the next scripture. I'm going to leave Psalm 148, go to 149, yet my heart is still yearning to spend a month on Psalm 148. You could spend a month on this one Psalm, 148, and about praising the Lord. But as we go on to 149 is the 23rd Psalm in the book of Psalms that is praise unto God. And I didn't go in the last excerpt to Psalm 23, the very 23rd Psalm, and read it. But that is one of my favorite footholds in life, that the Lord is my shepherd. Is he your shepherd? He is my shepherd, and therefore I'll follow him. I will praise him. Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I do not have to want the things of the world. I have a system I follow in my entire life since I got saved in 1972. I feed through this flesh, I feed my spirit on a daily basis with Christian stuff. Christian music. There's a radio station, by the way. I'd like to advertise it to you. It's 90.9 on your radio dial on your computer, and it's out of LaGrange, Georgia, and you can find it. It is called The Oak, and it is 24-hour Christian music and preaching and teaching. You can grow leaps and bounds by listening to that radio station. You will listen to no less than 5 preachers that preach on that radio station that are preaching. They are in heaven and been in heaven for several years, and that radio station brings their sermons forward, and they play their sermon. Listen, God took home many a man that fulfilled his work on this earth, and he's been taken home. I'm working on fulfilling the commission God has given me, which seems to be, besides winning the souls, that every soul that I could possibly win on the earth, I've been winning them. And then, on the other hand, following God as close as I can myself by being in his word. Psalm 149. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praises in the congregation of saints. Are you in a congregation? Have you asked the Lord, forgive you of your sin, come into your heart, and save your soul, and got into a congregation, that is a church somewhere, where there is a group of people that are following the Lord, and because they are, you can fellowship with that group. That's very important. It's very important. No man is a city unto himself, or an entity unto himself. He belongs to the rest of the saints if he has got saved, because he himself just being there, if he never says a word, just being there is important. We have several people, we have 2 or 3 guys I know in our church that in particular, they don't ever say anything. I mean, they're quiet people, they don't say anything. But I guarantee you, when the door's open, they're there. They are there. They are pillars of the church, in spite of the fact they don't say much. It said, let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Now, what is said here in the Old Testament, and when he uses the word Israel, we can use it now as the Gentile. We are grafted in to the kingdom of heaven. So we are the Gentile grafted in. And Zion. What is Zion? Zion is the city of God. The city of God on earth is Jerusalem. But the city of God in heaven is going to be the New Jerusalem. The same name, but the city of God. And we are going to one day, all the Gentiles that are saved are going to go and live in that city. In that city. Let them praise his name and dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let me tell you a little something. The praise of the devil in the world today is singing and dancing. Anything that God desired for himself or made for man to do for God, the devil has stole it away and made a dirty thing out of it. Dirty dancing is what is before our eyes today. Everybody is dirty dancing before our eyes today. One of the biggest programs on TV, which I nearly won't permit to be on my TV at any time, is the dance show where they dance, dirty dancing. Every bit of it is dirty dancing. The people that judge it have dirty minds. All they want to see is the lewd as it can get, as dirty as it can get, and be public on TV. If they could get away with it, they'd be dancing naked, and might as well be dancing naked. And it robs the man that's made of the earth, who has this fleshly thing in him that the devil brings forward to make him want to desire a look at other flesh that's naked, is not a godly thing. A man was designed to have one woman, one wife. That wife was to fulfill all of his fleshly desires, and that's the end of it. All other women you were to look at as a soul that is going one place or another, either heaven or hell. If that soul's headed for hell, you need to speak to her about going to heaven. By the way, several years ago in '73, after I got saved, I asked the Lord to deal with my heart in this matter of how to look at another woman besides my wife. And this is what the Lord gave me for an out. He said, if you look at her soul, say, I wonder if she died right now, would she go to heaven or hell? That wipes away the fleshly thoughts of her being a female. Yet you have to be very careful how you deal as a man with other females. Look at verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Drive my wife crazy, but I sing aloud. I listen to tapes every night. I go to bed with a tape on. And I'll play it for 20, 30 minutes, and it'll click off, and I'll flip it over and play it 20, 30 minutes, and I'll flip it over. And sometimes I'll keep the same tape in for months, literally months. And if I find the tape that reaches my heart, puts me in total communion with God, I play that thing until it's wore a slap out. And I do that with preaching. Sometimes I'll get a sermon, I'll put it on. And that guy will preach a sermon I just can't get enough of. And I'll play it over and over and over again. My wife has bared with me for 30-something years doing that. I do not sleep without somebody preaching or singing most of the time. And when I go to sleep, I'll go to sleep and I'll wake back up and turn it over and put it back on. And by the time I do it a month or so, I get the whole message. And that's my life. I have right here in this room a tape player on. Right now it's lit up. And when I shut this off, I turn that on. When I go in there, mother's bedroom, I have one in there, I'll turn it on. When I go in my bedroom, I have one in there. When I go down to the shop, I have downstairs, I have one. When I go under the house here, I have one there. I have out in my shop, out in the front, in the garage, I have one there. I have one in the truck. I carry one, a spare one with me. It's like Bibles. I have them behind the seat, under the seat, around the seat, on the dash. I have them everywhere I go. My desire is to serve God. There's not going to be any doubt in anybody's mind when they meet Brother Peter that he's foolish for God. He loves the Lord, and he's going to have something going that has to do with the Lord continually. It said, let the high praises of God be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. Now, the two-edged sword is the Bible. The Bible cuts asunder. The Lord said the Bible cuts on the way in and cuts in, and then on the way out it cuts the dross out. It cuts on the way out. On the way in, God cut me. He said, Peter, you've been saved now. You've done well. You put the beer away. You put the cussing away. You put several things away. But I have this thing that I'm not real happy about you continuing to do. And for me, and I'm not saying this for anybody else, but for me, it was cigarettes. And I continued to smoke. And the Lord said, I'm going to cut those cigarettes out of your life. The more you learn about me, the more you learn you don't need the things of the world in your life. And that's the thing of the world, and you don't need it. So you need to do away with it. So the two-edged sword cut that out of me. And to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. What is the vengeance that God puts on the heathen? The most beautiful vengeance you ever saw. He said, if you will ask me, say, admit you're a sinner, say, God, I am a sinner, forgive me of my sin, come in my heart and save my soul, the vengeance he puts on you is total forgiveness. Just as if you never sinned, justification. That's the vengeance he puts. He puts away the sin. And that vengeance takes that sin and casts it back on the devil and puts you in a place of being sinless. That's the vengeance God has. And the punishment upon the people. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. All of God's saints have the honor of being just as if they never sinned. Wow. What a recompense God gives to his people. Wipes the slate clean. He doesn't come after us with retribution. He comes at us with forgiveness. He comes at us with forgiveness. Listen, my salvation was given to me by God. My joy is brought to me by how close I walk to the Lord. If I walk close to the Lord, I'll have plenty of joy. If I don't walk close to the Lord, I am one miserable human being. Just a plain out miserable human being. I have to stay close to the Lord. Otherwise, I'm a forlorn human being. And many, many humans out there today are forlorn human beings because they do not get in the Word. Get in the Word. Get in the Word. This world cannot satisfy the spiritual need you have in your life. If it satisfies you 100% physically, when you wake up in the morning, you are distraught. You are destitute. All of the physical contact you had, all the mental contact you had, everything you had is going to pass away. And by the way, has already passed away from you, and you've got to start over again the next day. Let's talk about that cigarette. If it would satisfy you, if a cigarette would satisfy you, you'd only have to smoke one. But they don't satisfy. A cigarette is a picture of sin in the world and how that you have to take it over and over and over and over again to have satisfaction in the world. And that satisfaction doesn't last 15 minutes. And you got to have something else. That's why you don't just take one drink when you drink alcohol. You drink more and more and more and more. There's no satisfaction in it. There's degradation in it. The more you drink, the more degraded you get. Our time's come and gone. I must go now. We'll see you next time. Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word.